Okay. This is the post-fight thoughts of Terence Crawford versus Kell Brook. Terence Crawford masterclass of boxing stops Kell Brook inside 4 rounds. Wow. In the pre-fight prediction to this fight with Brook versus Crawford, we talked about Brook's size, talked about his punching power, we talked about his ability to box uh, orthodox and southpaw. We talked about Brook's experience fighting at a high level, having fought Golovkin, having fought Spence. We talked about his eyes. We talked about the fact he's been, he was in tough fights with Golovkin and Spence, and it took a lot out of him. We talked about that. We also talked about the fact that Brook's last three fights, or the fights he had at light middleweight, he looked good. And we saw pictures of Brook. We saw videos of Brook looking in fantastic shape, brilliant shape. And he was looking focused and good to go and saying all the right things. And this was his time, and he was a better fighter now than he was back then. We know that Dominic Ingle and Eddie Hearn distanced themselves from Kell Brook. This was a turn the clock back situation. Could Brook do it? Could he be dare to be great and go and turn the clock back? In the pre-fight prediction, there were three options. There was Brook by knockout, Brook by decision, based on the whole contractual situation with Top Rank and Crawford, or a masterclass from Crawford. And what we got was a masterclass. There was not one person I spoke to, right, or directly or indirectly, or phone calls I had the night before the fight from some very well-established names in the world of boxing that didn't expect something special to happen on this night. People could feel something special was going to happen, but they couldn't put their finger on what that special thing was going to be. Was it going to be Brook shocking the world, or was it going to be Terence Crawford showing us something special? This was Crawford's, for me, step-up fight. This was him fighting somebody that was a former world champion, but had fought a guy from PBC, which was Spence, and he fought Golovkin. So he operated at a higher level than Crawford as a pro, as a welterweight, and even as a middleweight. Yes, he failed in both attempts, but he still did that. And for the first couple of rounds, Brook looked comfortable, looked like Brook of old, boxing quite nicely, beating Crawford to the jab. He was beating Crawford to the jab, and Crawford, of course, had the better reach in the fight. He had the longer arms. He had the better reach. Brook was beating to the jab. The little straight right hands were coming through. Crawford was just taking his time. And all out nothing. And it was strange enough, it was a similar punch that Brook knocked Mark DeLuca out with. Was the punch that caused Brook problems. And that one punch started the complete downfall. It was like the first time Crawford landed something nice on Brook, he just completely fell apart. Now, Brook is known to be solid, durable. Golovkin never did that to him. Spence never came close to doing that to him. And you think to yourself, well, was he really that much of a damaged goods? Or is Crawford that good? Other things in the fight that was quite disturbing for me earlier on, when it came to the physical strength of Brook and Crawford. I like to see what happens when a guy's in a clinch. You're in a clinch, and Crawford had enough physical strength to push Brook off him. Do you remember when they were in that clinch? You gotta just push Brook off him. I thought, wow, Crawford is that physically strong. So what did we learn? What did we learn? Boxing fans often, when you see a fight and we move on to the next fight. We don't study the fight. We don't study what we can learn from this fight. That was Kell Brook. I don't care what anybody tells me. He got bashed up by this person. He got bashed. Yeah, okay, fine. He still would have got caught with that punch because that's the way Brook fights. He still would have got caught with a punch. He might have had better resistance. He might have been able to take it for a few more rounds, but he still would have been susceptible to that punch because that's the way Brook always fights. So there's some things we need to give Crawford credit for. Game plan, spot on. Top game plan, knew exactly how to catch Brook coming in. 2, Brook's strength and conditioning trainer. Right? Brook's strength and conditioning trainer. Not Brook, sorry, Brook. Crawford's strength and conditioning trainer. Whoever that man is, or that woman is, or that team is, they need to be given some serious credit. There was no point in time that Brook looked like he could overpower or walk through Crawford. So questions answered. Spence ain't walking through Crawford. Forget that. Get that completely out your mind now. Spence is not walking Crawford down. Crawford is physically very strong. After the fight, there's some pictures that were taken of Crawford. And if you look at his shoulders, you see how big his shoulder. You can see where he's now filled out as a welterweight. More so than when he first come up as a welterweight. This is a genuine welterweight now. So forget the conversation about not being big enough, not being strong enough. The question mark about the chin, well, Brook wasn't able to land the right hand the way he wanted to land it. That being said, Crawford's boxing skill, ability, distance and timing took that option away. So you can't just walk up on Crawford and throw a right hand. Not going to happen. Almost like the whole Mayweather thing. You're not just going to walk up to these guys and throw a right hand. But I thought Brook had the skill set to be able to match Crawford and be able to land one of them brownies to see what was going to happen. That was not the case. Now, you give Crawford his credit. Don't want to hear anything about, well, Brook was great, weight trained. No excuses. Brook was bashed up by a thing. He was bashed up by a Spence. He was bashed up by this person. He had 3 fights. He looked pretty good to me in those 3 fights. He got better as the fights went on. And I thought he had a genuine chance in this fight. I did. I thought he had a genuine chance if he could hit Crawford on the chin. But Crawford showed tonight not only as levels to this game, but when you hear people say I'm bigger and stronger, and they look good in the gym, and they look body beautiful, we also really need to take into consideration possibly the damage that's been taken. They've taken in fights, and what they've done outside the ring. Have they lived a clean life? There's some people who are body beautiful. You look at Bernard Hopkins. He kept his body in tremendous shape, boxed up till he's 50. He wasn't a guy that relied so much on speed and reflexes, but actual boxing technique. That's why he was able to box as long as he could. And he wasn't a big partier, a smoker, a drinker, bunning weed. Hopkins lived a life. Brook, I don't think, lived a life. Blowing up and down in weight all the time. So you have to, people say he's mismanaged. But did he manage his own self? Did he look after himself in the early years? When you see Brook at press after fights, his face ballooned up. During fights, his face would balloon up. All that weight draining up and down, moving up and down in weights. These are not excuses. These are facts. This is the situation. But just thought that this night he could just turn the clock back and throw shots and land something significant on Crawford. He didn't. Really, he didn't. And that's down to Crawford's masterclass. Absolute masterclass. That's it. There's no other way around it. Even if Brook wasn't weight drained, he still would have walked onto that shot. There's no sort of way around it. Even if he hadn't fought Golovkin and he hadn't fought Spence, he still would have walked onto that shot. Because technically, that's how Brook fights. Shout out to Steve Upshur. Was it Steve Upshur? Shout out to Steve Upshur. Steve Upshur called a fight in 3 rounds. Right? And there'll be people in the world of boxing that will look at that performance and believe me, they will steer clear of Terence Crawford. Now, as for those people out there that actually believe that Crawford v Spence will be the next fight, forget it. Crawford's made a statement in this fight. That's great. But he's not a ticket seller, a big ticket seller. He doesn't sell out arenas. Spence does. So there's more likelihood of seeing Spence. Should Spence get through Garcia, there's more chance of Spence fighting Canelo than there is of Crawford. Why? Money-wise, it makes sense. You've got 2 pound for pounders in there, but you've got one money maker in Canelo. You've got another money maker in Spence. Crawford's not a money maker, not yet. This fight here against Brook was a fight that says people say, okay, yeah, all right. This guy's fought a genuine welterweight, a big guy, and he took him apart. He took him apart. Masterclass. Do you understand? Yeah. It is something. I am going to be doing a video or set a video shortly, with a trainer, and we'll talk about things like weight loss and how it. I mean, I was talking to him. I was horrified when I was giving him he was giving me some advice. We were talking about professional boxing and about dehydration and weight training and stuff, and how the water can come off the brain. It is fascinating stuff, and I will definitely talk about that. But fantastic performance here by Crawford. It is what it is. And I want to make another statement on this. When a person makes a statement like this, and they say, I'm pound for pound number one, or I'm the best in the world, or I'm the best in my weight division, or I'm the best in my weight category, and they put a performance on like that, it's more believable. But when you go out and you fight an opponent that's like ancient, proper ancient, and he's so ancient that there's photographs of you as a little boy being hugged by the guy you're beating up on, and you have to go the distance with that person, and then you're talking about being the best in the division. No, it doesn't go like that. Performances like what Crawford put on there are performances where you just go, wow. That's what Mike Tyson used to do. That's why people love Mike. Mike used to take you out there, bam. That's why people love Prince Naseem Hamed. He'd go in there and he'd take you out. This guy's got a good record. He's done this as an amateur. He fought this person. He fought that person. And he goes out there and he smokes them. Smoked. Dealt with. Done. You understand? That is what people want to see. Statements in boxing. Not PR spin. Not the promoter telling you they're the best in the world. But the fighter actually put on a statement and say, go back. Watch, this is what I did there. This was the guy you brought to me. This is the way I dusted him up. This is what I'm talking about here. So I don't want to hear nothing about no Devin Haney. I don't even want to talk about what's his name? Gervonta Davis. Right. That's another performance there. Crawford, Gervonta Davis goes in against Leo Santa Cruz. Smokes him. Takes him out clean. Nobody's talking about a rematch for Brook. Nobody's talking about a rematch for Leo Santa Cruz. You take a man out with no dispute whatsoever. That's it. I don't want to hear. There's no more. Crawford's not big enough at the weight. He's not strong enough at the weight. I don't want to hear it. She took a genuine guy out there. And how big was Brook on the night? He probably was about 160 pounds on the night. So I hear he's not big enough. So forget that conversation. Or he's not strong enough. But what was quite funny at the end, though, you know they're not singing from the same hymn sheet. Bob Arum's like, yeah, he's the best in the world. Yeah, I put Crawford in with Spence, and I put him in with Danny Garcia, and he fight them back to back, and he beat them. And you know the Manny Pacquiao fight in Middle East, and he goes, yeah, people want to see Spence versus Crawford next. Crawford goes, yeah, I'll fight Pacquiao next. singing from the same hymn sheet, Bob Arum and Terence Crawford. But this is not social media hype. This is the business. Crawford's a throwback. And that's it. That's it. I hope, they will take a Spence team will take into consideration size doesn't matter. So you can rehydrate all you want. Look how I'd like to know how much Crawford weighed on the night. Never mind Brook. How much did Crawford weigh on the night? And was he significantly any bigger when he faced Brook than when he faced any other of his opponents? And then you think to yourself, well, hold on a second. Could Crawford move up? Thank you very much, D-Lo. Appreciate that. You got folks out there talking about Crawford needs to prove himself versus Ennis. I'm like, get the hell out of here. This guy is a prospect. Yeah, man. Stop that talk about Ennis. We were the first channel to talk to Boots Ennis. Right? That's another one to talk about now. But this guy's a prospect. Don't stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I did watch the Maloney Franco fast. Yeah, Maloney did get screwed over. He did. Is there question marks over Crawford's resume? Not anymore. Not really. He's just taken out Brook. He's taken out Khan. There's not. You can't really knock the resume. He's beaten Jeff Horn, who was in the top pound for pound, who beat Pacquiao, whether you want to accept it or not. I mean, it's Crawford's resume, And the thing is, he's not a PBC, so we have to take that into consideration. But ain't nobody. I still would like to see him fight Sean Porter. I still like to see him fight Sean Porter. I still want to see him fight Sean Porter because Sean Porter will put it on him. But Sean Porter ain't running through Crawford. He's not running for Crawford. Yeah, you know what? Do you know Brook got hit so hard? He got hit so hard, he didn't even know where the punch was that hit him. He got hit so hard that in his corner, Brook was going saying, "What happened? How did that happen? What hit me?" He didn't know where he was. Brook didn't know if he was in Sheffield. He didn't know if he was with Ace Ventura, or he didn't know if he was MTK Global, or he was at Matchroom. He didn't know if him and Eddie were friends. He didn't know if he was a top-ranked fighter. He didn't know if he was going to PBC. He didn't know he was a free agent. He didn't know where he was. He did not know where he was. That's how hard Brook got hit. That's how hard he got Brook. You know what? That's the second British fighter that stuck his head through the ropes. Joshua was the first one. Went over to America and you got hit and you went stumbling into the ropes. What is that about British fighters that like to stumble into ropes? Oh no, that's the third one. Hatton did it as well. Hatton stumbled into ropes with a check left hook. And Joshua went falling through ropes when he fought Andy Ruiz. And now Brooks decided to stick a guy head forward, diving out the ropes. What is this with British fighters? Yeah, he didn't know his name. Called his trainer Dom. No, I'm not mocking Brook here. I'm just telling you how hard Crawford hit him, right? Just the reality of how hard the punch was. And do you know what? When things like this happen in boxing, and you just say, "Oh yeah, well done, Crawford," and move on, there are lessons to be learnt here. There are lots of lessons to be learnt in this fight. So many lessons. Yeah, we're talking about British fighters. Bird Hopkins is not a British fighter. Ruben Guerrero. Yeah, that's not Brother Rose. There was something else that Brook said that was very interesting. He said that British boxing's backward. Did he not say something like that? He said, "Yeah, British boxing's a bit backward." And the other thing is, he was quite interested to say interviewer was trying to push him to say, yeah, Crawford's better than Spence. He was trying to get Brook to say it, but Brook couldn't say it. And you know what was really good about Crawford at the end of the interview? He had the wherewithal to realise that the Brook he'd beaten wasn't the Brook that fought Spence, and it wasn't the Brook that fought Golovkin. He said times, when I fought him now is different to when he wasn't a fresher fighter. So Crawford knew that. Brook had the inside game to be competitive, but Crawford said, no, we're not going to let you get started. So for once, Crawford actually started quick. Yeah, he did. Brook said British boxing. What's he say? Brook said British boxing is behind a little. He was talking about the British fighting style. Well, yeah. Brook just got stopped quite badly, and the guy interviewing him kept pressing how better Bud was than Spence. LOL. Guy could hardly think straight. Yeah, he probably couldn't. He was so concussed. I was taken straight to hospital. Let's see. We've got here now. Good evening, Litvinda. Yeah, Ruben, man like Bud. Mahmood, much love. Hope you're good. Hey, China. I love Kell Brook, but he was never managed properly. Yeah, well, all you Matchroom fans out there that love to think, you sign a Matchroom, this is what happens. You may get paid a lot of money at Matchroom, but this is what happens to you. And remember, not too long ago, Brook was the cash cow. He was selling out arenas. And if you can do it to Brook and throw Brook under a bus, he can throw anybody under a bus. That's it. Moment Bud switched. He turned Brook's jab off. No, I would say the minute Crawford switched on, Brook got switched off. I'm still in shock that one of the greatest talents on UK shores has retired, and everyone has a big hand for that legend. That legend was Dave Allen. Well, Dave will be back. He's just biding his time like Sugar Ray Leonard to come back in some pay-per-view blockbuster. Yeah, Brook was Brook. Cheap, camp, and team contributed did not want to be part of the 2 million per day. Yeah, well, it was a cheap camp. I don't think it would have made a difference, though, even if he had a great camp. I don't think it would have made a difference because I think he still would have got tagged with that shot. They kept saying Bud is very strong. He picked Bud up like a baby. Did he pick Bud up or did Bud pick him up? Are you sure? I'm sure it was the other way around. Greatest talent? Hell, no nice guy in boxing, possibly. Yeah, Brook was winning until he wasn't just like versus GGG and Spence. Yep. A lot of people were predicting Bud's stoppage, but a lot were thinking Brook was done. But early rounds showed Brook wasn't fully gone and Bud was better than thought. Yeah. Brook should have been a legend, but didn't have the right management or coach, in my opinion. I think so. That is something I definitely agree with you, China. Bud just adapts to everything so soon as he switched to southpaw. He negated Brook's jab. Excellent finish. He has always been a ruthless finisher. Yeah, he has. And that's one thing I like about Bud. Ruthless. If he gets you out, he gets you out of there. Brook looks solid early, but Bud is just another class. Yep, he absolutely is. Bud's fight IQ, best in boxing. It's up there for sure. For sure. Brook's career being too inconsistent to be challenging top pound for pound fighters this stage of his career. It's easy to say that now. You weren't saying that hype before. You weren't saying that stuff before. So now you can say after the fact. Don't try and be an after the fact genius. Don't try and be an after the fact genius. The fact of the matter is, coming into this fight, right? Coming into this fight, people said, all right, you know what? He's big, he's strong. He's the first genuine big welterweight that Crawford had fought. And he'd come off a really good knockout of Mark DeLuca. Now, Mark DeLuca is nothing great, but still, if Brook had that physical strength, he could have caused some problems with Crawford. That's what we were expecting. Oh boy. I don't care if Brook was consistent. He would have still got hit with that shot. Technically, he would have still got hit with that shot. Even if he was consistent, he would have got hit with that shot. Agreed, Brook only himself to blame for a lot of it, and I am a fan of Kell. Sure, Hearn managed him a bit poorly, but it was a combination of both. Oh yeah, absolutely. I had Crawford around 8 or 9. Didn't expect it to come as early. Very good win. Yeah, I didn't expect that either. I didn't either. Strange when the fighters go up and down and boil down, how it ruins their punch resistance. There's something we need to look into, as I mentioned. What does Spence do after Canelo fight then? Move back down to 147 or leave division totally? Good point. Good point. Depends on what the result goes with him in Canelo. Does depend. Let's see what's next. If Errol fights Canelo, he will take life-changing damage. Well, the thing about Canelo, he fights in spots. He doesn't fight the whole 12 rounds. He fights in spots. Blood did the business. Oh, yeah, he did the business. Yeah, pick Kell up like a baby. My bad. Yeah. There you go. Thank you so much again, D-Lo Boxing. Appreciate you. So, will Brook v. Khan happen? I don't want to see Brook v. Khan. No. No, 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 no. No. No chin versus no eyes. It'd be like a handicap match. I don't want to see it. Sorry. I'm not interested. I never said Brook had a chance. Oh, dear. Horn was bigger. Yeah. He was big. But bash me anyway. LOL. Yeah, I will. May as well. Spence is fighting Canelo before Bud. I assure you. Crawford had Brook looking like he was one of England's victims in this game of snooker. You are funny, you are. Brook could have made the money Khan made if he had been shifted to America after Porter win. Remember his early interviews with Eddie. He just couldn't stop rimming him. Brook versus Khan. I don't want to see. Please don't talk about that fight. Come on. Sounds like a fair matchup, Khan versus Brook. Come on now, you don't want to see that fight. Listen, you really don't want to see that fight. Fight fans are terrible. They will give you awful matchups. They will talk about, let's make this fight. Then when the fight gets made and they get the promotion together, people are like, oh my God, why do we want to see this? They're both shot. They're both past their best. So before you all say it, I ain't even talking about it. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones is an exception to the rule, right? But Khan versus Brook, nobody wants to see that. Really? Nobody really wants to see that fight. Nobody really wants to see that fight. So yeah, nobody wants to see that fight. Come on. Both guys need to retire now, and that'd be it. Brook vs. Khan is out of value now. Brook has lost his leg. Khan's lost his legs with mild hand speed, but the edge still belongs to Brook. Canelo is one fight versus prime fighter with no weight class from losing. Okay. I'm hearing people now talking about Callum Smith making Canelo fight a 50-50 fight. Oh my God. I'm done. I'm actually done. No interest in Brooke Khan. Brooke, now all should have happened 5 years ago. Agreed. No, the fight everyone wants to see is Bob Arum versus Eddie Hearn. I got Bob winning, but after some serious low blow. Eddie can't fight. Low Manhattan accent. You know when Dennis Hobson offered Eddie Hearn out for a fight? That was funny. Heard about that. Sky Team coming out on Eiffel saying they can see Brooke retiring. Yeah, well, of course they'll say that. Of course they're very, Sky are very good at telling people when they should retire. But you know what? I think the whole team should retire. Johnny Nelson, Macklin, Adam Smith, the whole lot of them, all their commentary team should retire. Finish, done. Get rid of them. All. They should all retire. They're all well past the sell-by date. Bring back Glenn McCrory. Bring back Ian Darke. Do you understand? Get Peter Fury doing some commentating. Get John Fury doing some commentating. I mean, I'll even jump in and do some commentary. But all those guys need to retire. They're always quick to tell other people to retire, but they need to retire. Because they're way past their sell-by date. So I don't want to hear anything about them. The John Ryder fight tells me otherwise. Yes. Been too long in the tooth. The fight just before Crawford Brook was terrible. Maloney should have had the TKO and they skunked him. Yep, they did. They skunked somebody on the night, it just wasn't Crawford. Macklin and Smith are woeful. They have to go. Rhodes, Defo at the end for being, yeah. Hello, there's a lot of commentary teams that need to bow out. I agree. But start with Sky, because Sky are always quick to tell everyone they need to retire. And Adam Smith's really quick to tell me, is this the end of the road? It's been a long career. I don't know how much he's got left. He needs to go. He needs to go, and sharpish. Right? He's always telling everybody about the end of the road. That's the end of Sky's road in terms of the commentary team. It's just terrible. I was so happy when Larry Merchant and Lampley retired. I was on the verge of sending assassins. You jokers. They call for Sam Egginton to retire before he's fighting on Channel 5 with Hennessy. He's fighting Ashley Theophane. Okay. I need to give Ashley a call, by the way. The Katie Taylor was so biased. I thought they might have been close relatives. Yeah, I didn't watch that. I didn't watch the whole card. I didn't watch any of the card. Honestly, I didn't. A lot of garbage. I didn't watch it. But shout out to Terry Harper, who broke her hand and still won the fight. I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. It looks like they're trying to wring that woman dry, like squeeze and get as much money out of fights out of Harper as possible. Back-to-back fights. She needs to stop, man. She needs to get a rest at Terry Harper, because they're going to wring her dry, and I don't like that. Is Price still active? If he's still active, he'll be on Sky. Don't worry, he'll be affiliating a show soon. Expect Dave Allen to make a great comeback in 2021 at some point. I don't know. When the crowds come back, Allen will be fighting again. Sky asking Egginton to retire at mid-20s after putting him in war after war. Can't make it up. Ingram to head the Sky commentary team. I sincerely don't know. No chance. I couldn't do that. No. I couldn't do it. I couldn't work for Sky. No. There's some people I know would. I couldn't. No. Sorry, Denise. I couldn't do it. No. Only watch Farouk versus Doherty. Cullen was on that card. Okay. I enjoyed the Tim Bradley, Andre Ward commentary, but Joe Tessitore looks like a group of fish. Top Rank always has to spoil it. Joe Tessitore. I like Joe Tessitore though. Back in the day, I do like Joe. You know when the big fight was on, Joe Tessitore is on. And you know who else I used to like? The Colonel, Bob Sheridan. I love the Colonel. If you listen to Bob Sheridan, his commentary with Roy Jones versus John Ruiz, that was really good. The Bob Sheridan, he was amazing. Is he still commentating? Is he even still alive? The Colonel Bob Sheridan. Alan Babbage is fighting Tom Liddell and F. Wardley against Richard Larty. And what do you want me to say? How do you want me to react to that? I know you're telling me, but how do you Only people. I don't care. I honestly don't care. I'm sorry. That sounds savage. I don't care. I really don't care. It's not that I don't care about the guys. It's just, you know, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones are fighting at the end of the month. And that, just because they're legends fighting, I care more about that than most of what Matchroom puts on in the whole year. Just watching those two legends go at it, it's just fascinating. The fact that we're gonna get to see Mike Tyson in 2020. We all know Mike's finished. We all know Roy's finished, but it's just still. I mean, I'm still, you know, I'm excited about that. But bloody this Matchroom thing, I just don't care. I really don't. David Demianti introducing young Babbage as a young boxing phenomena. City, oh, beyond a joke. Hey, I tell you what, Top Rank showed you how to do a bubble type show. Those lights, I mean, you've got to give Top Rank that. You'll give them the juice. Man, I would love to have been walking out, just walking out, by the way, not punching anyone or fighting anyone. I'd love to be walking down a ramp with the smoke and all the lights and the glitz. I would have loved that. That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. I mean, Eddie Hearn did it in his backyard, and it was all the fireworks and stuff, and it looked good. But that Top Rank thing was just amazing. Sorry, I'm not trying to find that Top Rank thing was amazing. Bob Sheridan was great at it. Yeah, Dono, who thought Sergio Mora would make a good commentator? Yeah, he's always a smart kid. LOL. Nathan says, Tom Little for pound on. Oh my God! Listen, I like Tom. I do like Tom. I got a lot of respect for Tom. Tom is funny. Tom knows where he's at, but he's funny. He's entertaining. You know, he's good to listen to. He's a good laugh. He's a trier. I like Tom Little. You know what I mean? I like him. I mean, I do like Tom. I don't know when his last time he's won a fight, but I love Tom. But to be fair, he does get matched against some of the best in the world. Ingram and HBO would have led to a fist fight. The level of bias would have driven Ingram over the edge. Let me show you what Paul Cannon like him. Oh, dear me. Dear me. Do you know what's missing in boxing? Have you not noticed, right? If you look at football, you look at Roy Keane, and they have their debates. Every so often, Roy Keane will give somebody a look like, I'll have you afterwards. You don't get that in boxing when they're doing the commentary. Everyone seems very nice to everybody. There's nobody in commentary kind of says something and the other person looks at me and goes, like, you're talking rubbish. You don't get that. And I've noticed you don't see people act adverse to comments. You might get a boxer's being acting adverse to criticism, but you don't really get commentators. They all seem to be all like one big happy family. You don't see often people like have such differing views. The only thing that kind of came close to it was David Hay and John Fury, which made it interesting. But you don't really get a lot of that. You get a lot of read along the same script and everyone gets on as a happy family. Not saying that it shouldn't be, but that's one thing I like sometimes about watching Roy Keane, because he says something and people don't quite like it. Or the other day when Patrick Evra went off script and was talking about Manchester United and how he felt that some of them needed a slap in the football team. So, you know, I like stuff like that. Quicker, faster, stronger than a speeding bullet. Yeah, that's it at 50. Yeah, that's it. I think Bob has retired, but he's still living. Bob Sheridan, I love that guy. Amazing. Amazing. Got to give it to Aram. 85 plus and still in there with his mask on. Yeah. I was going to say something else as well. Who else was a good commentator? You know what? I think we need to have Harold Lederman back doing his scoring. We need to have I used to remember Harold Lederman. I enjoyed Harold Lederman. Dave Allen has now come out saying Usyk knocked him unconscious in sparring. Okay. Okay. Sky call Rachel Ball a popular sensation in a second televised fight. That's what I said. Remember, Barry Hearn, I think he was quoted in saying that boxing fans are mugs. That's exactly why. Bob Arum is proof that an Egyptian mummies are well preserved. Captain BS. Too bad there was no crowd. Yeah, that would have been amazing. I can't understand these commentators trying to over-talk former and current professional fighters and overrule them on what is taking place in the ring. Ingram wouldn't have been 50 years younger to have decked Floyd, lol. I love Floyd. Yeah, Arum is 88 and he's still at it. Roy Jones pulled rank on Larry Merchant a couple of times in commentary. Roy, you don't need to pull rank. I think George checked Larry Merchant a few times. King's reactions are gold. They are. Yeah. What would Lennox Lewis have thought of the fight last night? It's a great performance. From Bud Crawford. He looked sensational last night. And for Kell, I don't know what to say. He put on he came out, he did his thing. It got clipped, and that happens in boxing. So the better guy won. It looks good for Terence Crawford. He went in there, he let his hands go, and Kell couldn't take it. So Lennox, what's next for you? We'll see. Lennox Lewis is in the building. And I'll be back. No guy test. See. Yeah, Barry Jones is cool, but Barry's on that. He's on the Max Kellerman of speaking. Speaking one way, and then I think they're going to try and curb him more into be more corporate and be more towing the line. So Barry Jones he's diplomatic, but you can see he can go the other way as well. Harold died of cancer about a year ago. I'm so sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that. Al Burns is a decent commentator and Paulie Malignaggi. Yep. Great impersonation. That was an unbelievable performance. I mean, this is reckless boxing from Kell. This is reckless boxing. Oh, bang on the. You imagine if Jim Watt was there? All you needed was Jim Watt there on the night. This is reckless boxing from Brook. Reckless boxing, arm punches. We need Jim Watt back, man. We need Jim Watt back. We need the Jim Watt back. We really do. Adam Smith, he's such a great guy. I had breakfast with him yesterday. He's so charming. On any boxer fights on Sky. Oh my god. Yeah, right. Max Kellerman commentary. Man, I preferred it when he was flapping, rapping, and both are bad. Oh, Max wasn't too bad. And then they cut him because he started talking. Because when you first looked at Max Kellerman, he was talking a lot of stuff at the side of his mouth, but now it really wasn't going in favour of what HBO were going down, because he was talking up a lot about Mayweather. Mayweather was the best counter puncher in boxing, and and their agenda was Pacquiao. So they kind of pulled Max Kellerman in and said, "Oi, none of that stuff. You have to go with what we're saying." So Kellerman changed his whole way of commentary or punditry. Sky will simulate you like the Borg. Yeah, you see that with Jones. Macklin started off quite well, but he is now well and truly shill. Yeah, he is. That's what happens. Ah, my man Ingram. My man Coach Chris. Adam Smith. Kell's American dream is becoming a nightmare. Oh my word. How do you all like Gareth on the mic over there? Gareth who? Davis. Oh no. Max started off with an attitude. He did. Too quickly whipped into shape. Yes, I don't see there's agendas. So it is what it is. Anybody who speaks out of turn long enough, they get whipped into shape. So, or they get taken out of there, i.e. Paulie Malignaggi. I don't know. I don't know where we go with all this now. Brooks dealt with now. Who would Crawford fight next? Welterweight. I actually would like to see Crawford fight Ray Robinson. I really would. I would like to see Crawford fight him. I would like to see Crawford fight Ray Robinson to see how that fight goes. Boxing is the only sport where analysts who never participated have their own opinions put over the former professionals. Yeah, it seems so. It seems the case. Yeah. For those of you who may not know, I did an interview very recently with Leon Muhammad. Please do get a chance to listen to that interview. There's some really gems in that interview. Talks about his relationship with Alan Minter. That was very interesting. Talks about Tyson Fury and the Glove Gate situation. Talks about his relationship with Teofimo Lopez. So it's a very good interview because there's so much information in it. So when you get a chance, check out that interview. Next for Crawford, I think is Porter. Yeah, I think that's the fight. I don't know if Crawford's going to take that fight. I think Crawford's going to go and try and take a Pacquiao fight. But I don't know how Crawford's taking that Pacquiao fight. You know what? A Biden fight time. Let him go fight Mikey Garcia. Crawford, Mikey Garcia. Go and get on with that fight. Get on with that fight. Or Crawford Ugas. See if they take that fight. Crawford Ugas. Crawford Robinson. Or Crawford just makes the switch to PBC. Crawford on Relentless named Thurman, Spence, Pacquiao, possible opponents. He'll stop Thurman. I mean, Thurman's got punching power, but I don't know if Thurman ain't knocked anyone out in ages. When did you interview Crawford? 2013, twice on BWTM Online. I spoke to him just after he fought Prescott, and I fought him just spoke to him either just before he fought Ricky Burns or just after he spoke to Ricky Burns. Shame Keith's so inactive now. Fight with him and Bud could have been amazing. I was just gonna say Mikey Garcia. Yeah, Mikey Garcia. If I'm Bud, I go for Mikey Garcia or Keith Thurman. He'll stop Thurman. Based on what he did to Brook, he'll stop Thurman. Thurman doesn't punch with the punching power he has before, but I thought that Brook would be able to test Crawford's chin. I don't know if Thurman does any better. He's got better feet than Brook. He doesn't hold his feet as much. Oh no, Crawford will beat Broner up bad. I know I get stopped by any heavyweight, but let me just do the ring walk at the O2 at Wembley. I did a ring walk. I did the ring walk at the O2 Arena. Actually, I did the whole walk. I did the walk into the arena with Bermain Stavern, and I did the ring walk with Bermain Stavern as well. I was literally right behind him in the Joyce fight. In fact, I haven't even actually looked at that fight since. So I have to go and look at the Showtime coverage. I have to go and look at the fight and spot myself doing the ring walk with Stavern because I was literally right behind him. It is an amazing feeling doing that ring walk. Absolutely amazing. There's nothing like it really. It's got all these crowds cheering and stuff, and you go into an arena and it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. You were on the ring walk. Must have been legendary. Yeah, it was. Well, actually, I need to post that stuff. I need to post some of that stuff because I've got it. I'll post some of it on this channel. I haven't done it. I'll post some of it. Yeah, with the crowd as well. Amazing. Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Crawford has become more exciting as he's moved into the weight. He's been taking on bigger guys like Mean Machine and Brook at 147. These guys hydrate to 160, 170. Crawford started at 135. That's elite. I agree with you there. Yeah, impressive stuff. What pound for pound was made for? Yeah, it was. But yeah, that ring walk was amazing. And then I did the ring. We did the. Like when when you see the clips of the guys walking into the arena. I was in that as well. Some of the Showtime guys were filming as well, walking into the arena. And I remember walking into the arena and looking up at O2 Arena, looking up and looking across and seeing Brian Custer, who I've interviewed as well. I looked up and I waved at Brian as we walked into the arena. It was an incredible experience, absolutely incredible experience. But I had to spend the whole week with Stavern in his hotel for him. I mean, I went home and came back. He was at the Docklands. But again, it was just an unreal experience. Watching a former world champion, go to work, watching him. We went out together. I think we went out to, we went around, did a few things in London, had meals together. But it was just an unreal experience to do that. I'm going off topic slightly, but you talk about ring walks. It's an incredible thing. Top Rank should be promoting Crawford to the moon and back. Yeah, they've done a poor job with him, to be fair. In terms of demeanour, Crawford remains to me of Tommy Hearns. I just want to get in there. No shed load of interviews, no spills, no free offs. Yeah, he's old school. He's definitely old school. When I spoke to him, that was one thing I picked up about Crawford. Very old school. And he's got a great knowledge of the sport of boxing. Knows his place in boxing and knew from very young where he was going to be in boxing. And he's fulfilled that. Bud got pop. He showed Brook who's boss. He's proven he can handle a big welterweight. Yeah, he has. Look, the thing is, I want to make this clear. He just didn't handle a big welterweight. He beat a big welterweight with technical skills. That's the thing. That was what was impressive for me. ESPN should be running a day in the life of Crawford inside the campus, etc. Yeah, they should. They should invest more time in him. But I don't know. But Main Stavern is such an interesting guy. He is. Did you ever find week building up to a fight? Was it overly busy with media commitments which could affect distractions? Not really. Not really. The week of the fight, the weigh-in, we went to the weigh-in, obviously. And straight after the weigh-in, we went straight and did the fighters meeting. And that was it, really. The fighters meeting. So that was it. Weigh-in, fighters meeting, and then went back to the hotel room. Of course, you've got to do your medicals and stuff when you get into the country. But it wasn't overly busy, no. Golovkin and Spence couldn't knock Brook down. Crawford did, yeah. Crawford is a throwback fighter in many ways. I would love to pick his mind. Yes, I can imagine. Crawford is too hood for a day in the life special. Is your video following Carson Jones still on there, Ingram? When he was fighting here in the hotel, etc. Yeah, it's still there. The Carson Jones one is there. Carson Jones one is there, and there's the Huey Fury one as well. Following the Furies around, so that was quite good. I enjoyed that as well. The Carson Jones one, the Huey Fury one, where Savannah Marshall was in camp, and David Ayanle, he was in there as well, sparring with Huey Fury, so it was good. Bud seems to like, personally, clips of him clowning team, ESPN needs to show more of that side of him. Well, it's just what the agenda is, isn't it? When you were in the entourage, were there issues with groupies, bad fans, or anything? There were some issues, but I'd rather not talk about them. It's not for me to talk about, but yeah, there were issues. But not with fans. There weren't groupies. No, there were no groupies. I wouldn't say that. There was no groupies. Stavern had his team pretty solid, but there were issues, but nothing to do with groupies or anything like that. Time booth for Sky Team. Oh boy. Bud did interview with a YouTube media, but he was like, if you're negative about me, you're not getting interviews. I don't know. I did 2 interviews with him. I know that much. So I don't know. Sometimes the behind the scenes stuff of boxing is exciting as the real stuff. Yeah. Dare I say about the Dave Allen retirement? Haha. Sorry. Bit late here. Yeah, we talked about it. You were hating on Crawford this entire time. Now you seem as if you're expected Crawford to do this whole thing along. Get it together. Where did this guy come from? I was hating Crawford all the time. Why was that? Oh dear me. So you really want me to give a response to somebody with the name of Q? Yeah, of course, mate. There's always somebody who wants to come in the conversation, and you pay no mind. Crawford could win titles 154. Of course he could. I was hating on Crawford all the time. Why was I hating Crawford all the time? I said that the only thing I said about Crawford is his level of opposition has not been great. And it has not been great in the welterweight division. That's not hating. That's facts. Get a proper name, my friend, and come back and have a conversation with me. Ingram said Top Rank should promote Crawford more for ages. Clearly doesn't follow your channel. Well, I know. He's a troll. Not a very good one either because they can't even spell their name. So you can't really pay attention to somebody with a name called Q, can you? He isn't a hater. No, I'm not. But you know the people who they are. People come on the channel, they see something, and they come in and say something. And look, get a life, my friend. I think that's about it now. Thank you so much for watching. I have to get going. I'm pretty late. Thank you so much, as always. This has been BWTM Sports Gaming. Wonder why they were calling for the Pac-Man fight. Bob really is bugging out. If Spence wins, maybe the Errol fight. Can't see it happening. Can't see it. It'll be Errol will fight Canelo. How would you see Bud doing against J-Rock? Don't know. I have to fight. I have to look at. I have to think about it. But he's more skilled than J-Rock for sure. But we'll see. Right, thank you all so much. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you smash the like button. That's really supportive to the channel. And I know you lot do smash the like button. So just continue smashing the like button. And also appreciate you all. Much love. Take care.